Yep, most definitely. But like you've been saying, PB God, I mean, he's pulled out stuff like the Alistar and Renata, so he's not too scared in matching the CC with a Samira pick. But Ultra Prime, when it comes to Ning's champion pool, I think he is a big fan of the Sejuani, and he allows Doggo to really set up or set him up for the early game and give it gives all those resources to this ADC, because like I've been saying, he is the main carry, especially when he's on the champions like Zeri and Lucian. I think he looks extremely good. But champions like those, once you E in, you can't really E out, and I think that is a main problem for Ultra Prime, where they take fights and they commit to it, but the execution sometimes just isn't there.
Maybe that's why they're banning the Zeri Lucian, right? Because they're keeping Doggo from going in, yeah. So he will have to pull something else out, and when you talk about the carry performance of Doggo, then I'm really curious as to what direction Ultra Prime go, because we already have the double front line and the denial of Shanji's Ksante. 8 games played, next highest is 2. So he's not going to have that same option, but Shanji,
oh my lord,
flex it, baby. That man's issuing a challenge.
Shanji never disappoints me when it comes to Ksante lanes. I believe the last time I casted him, he introduced the Udyr into Ksante matchup in that top lane, and he absolutely dominated the Ksante. Like, he was just playing with the feelings of that Ksante. Now with the Darius, I mean, just a lot of damage from OMG's team composition already. The Darius and Vi being locked in for this top side, I mean, a Sylas would be perfect for them.
Oh, Kitty named it. Sylas to come through. I mean, again, you know, for Qing, he hasn't really been that style. I think looking at them at the moment, yeah, he's only played 1 individual game, so Qing's going to flex another. And so we do have double solo lanes here for melee, or, you know, vice versa. You guys know what I'm trying to say for Ultra Prime, but no bottom lane, Kitty. And so while they continue banning away mid laners, I feel like for OMG right now, they have the pick of the litter to just deny Doggo.
Look, Draven's still up, and I'm still coping. Maybe Doggo does pick this Draven. It does do relatively well into Varus, especially
banned by
when
OMG. I know you're excited for it.
I'm so blind. Hysterics, why am I so blind? I need to get my eyes checked. I am so sorry, everyone. But like you've been saying, Doggo, a lot of champions as well. I mean, we've seen the Xayah. It is a pretty good champion into specifically Darius and Vi, where they want to consistently go in, and it does fit the overall team composition of up so far. Up, UP.
No, you can Ultra Prime up. UP is something I rarely say, but I realize when I say it what it kind of implies. But still, everything's on the table as LeBlanc gets banned away. Mid lane taken away from Creme again. 3 targeted bans here towards one of OMG's core players. 80 carries already been taken away in the form of Jhin. Kitty, you know, I know you want to look at aggressive laning 80 carries. I'm trying to think, like, maybe the Ezreal comes through. Yuumi left to a second ban. Thank God Yumi's dead in this game. But Doggo now with limited options.
Yeah, very limited options. I mean, Ezreal is okay, but Ultra Prime's entire team comp is lacking some damage, so I'm expecting a hyper carry up against this Varus in this bottom lane. And we've seen Baolan. He loves his Lulus, so potentially we could see something. I mean, Sivir is okay, but I would love to see something more long range, because you're up against a Varus that can potentially go poke, and you also want to be playing with the positioning up against a Vi and Darius, so something that can kite extremely well as well.
God, will it be an 80 carry Varus? So that's still what I'm just waiting for. Again, PP God's already played it, and against this heimerdinger too. It could be a bit of an adaptation here for the bottom lane of OMG. They are going to look for something a bit more mobile to hit some of these side lanes, Kitty. So Creme being on a core control mage. Ooh, have to see what gets locked in the bottom lane though. That's all I care about. Show your face. What is it going to be? Even if it's an AD.
Caitlyn is still available for both the Varus support and heimerdinger support, so it's a pretty exciting pick for anticipated pick. But Abel, is he going to bring out the Cleanse Ghost again? Come on.
I'm not too sure.
I'm waiting in
anticipation. Will it really be the safe support of choice?
Lock it in. Oh, he's going to do it.
Yeah, he is. Okay, again, this is why we love OMG. You just don't know what's coming with the draft.
Yep, I mean, Xayah is looking extremely good for Doggo. It really depends on if he decides to opt into this. Caitlyn is still a viable pick because it does gain a lot of lane priority when you are paired with a heimerdinger. So it really depends on how Doggo wants to approach this game. Both Xayah and Caitlyn, pretty decent answers into the Kaisa. I mean, yeah, like you said, this is a Varus support, and we saw from last night that the Varus support actually does a lot of damage.
But Kitty, I mean, you said it on the other side. You were saying Xayah does really well into the composition OMG run into it. And it's going to be the final pick here, something we don't really see with the heimerdinger, but a lot of control in that 2v2. Excuse me. Kitty, run me through draft. Start with OMG, because it does feel like they want to accelerate this game through Darius, through the Varus Kaisa bot.
Most definitely. I mean, OMG's is coming out with a lot of comfort picks, I would say. I mean, Abel, he's always been known as that aggressive ADC, so Kaisa fits him perfectly, and Shanji, he loves playing these lane-dominating champions, so Darius up against Ksante, they want to be looking for...
Oh, willing to throw out a couple of bits of flair as well as we enter Summoner's Rift in a very different space. I'm finally glad to say that we're going to say goodbye to this patch after today. It has been a month and a bit. I cannot stop talking about 13.1 being said and done. Kitty, today's a glorious day. Honestly, nothing could go wrong. We could have a 30-minute game of no kills. I'd still be smiling.
No. But here's the real question. Would you rather Kaisa Xayah meta come back or Zeri Lucian meta come back?
Oh, Kaisa Xayah. Any day of the week. Oh, my God.
It's already
At
back,
least...
hysterics.
Yeah, true. And there might be more to it than meets the eye because level 1 could be dangerous. Does Ultra Prime have the engage? That's an absconder stuck start. With here, the Sylas. Ning has already gone on in. Setting up, wants the permafrost, and instead just blocking off. PP God has to burn a flash. Remember, you get the melee from the Sylas and you get the first blood. Beautiful aggression from Ultra Prime at 1 minute 30.
Gotta protect those towers at all costs 1 minute into the game. I mean, PP God even burns the flash, and that first blood does go into the hands of Doggo, so he's gonna have a wonderful time in this lane. But with the Varus not having flash available, I mean, this Sejuani is sprinting it down bot lane.
Well, giving first blood as well over to Ultra Prime, and I believe it was Doggo who picked it up. Yeah, so this Kaisa going to be dealing with a lot more than we expected at first. Kitty, run me through the 2v2 matchup and how this works down here, because again, Kaisa Xayah, as you said, not something we often see.
Yeah, this is probably the first time I've ever seen Xayah and heimerdinger being paired as a duo in the bottom lane, but when it comes to the Varus versus heimerdinger support, it really depends on the lane priority. We saw that Baolan really wanted to protect his towers in that level 1 skirmish, and they did just that, where PP got lost all priority, and he isn't going to be able to walk into that and denial the vision while tossing out poke because of just how behind you are. I believe he's around 3 minions behind from that death, so it's going to look a little bit tough with this Varus, and especially you as a carry support champion, you don't want to be behind.
And already you can see that Abel not able to step up to the wave as safely as you would have expected. Baolan and Doggo hit 2 first. PPGod is able to catch up a little bit here, but it does feel like he was a minion or 2 behind, as you were saying. Poke not going to connect, and Ultra Prime's bottom lane off to a roaring start. While we look towards these other lanes, and Shanji, something we haven't talked about yet, Kitty. This Darius versus Ksante matchup already looking like a feud.
I mean, as long as Hery doesn't die, I think he's gonna do just fine. But Shanji already pushing in the wave, denying an entire wave of CS. He's already down half and has to catch just safely under his own tower. The amount of aggression from Shanji, I love it, because he has been kind of the light of OMG. I think he has been so entertaining to watch. He just loves his random champions, and Darius, LPL, they go hand in hand.
Yeah, really, again, it's always a pocket pick for people in our league. Shanji's someone who especially has a couple of pockets that we've come to know and love. The Rumble's a great example of that. So far in the league, he has been the best by far. As now for the engage, Hery just setting in. Great trade with Shanji, even finding himself a level lead. Gets a push out from under turret as well, and Shanji has to pay a little bit of respect for a while, but we know the level 6 onwards and coming. And that's when the real threat shows up, as I think PP God Kitty got poked out of lane again.
Yeah,
and so he has to back away, and Abel's just stuck in a 1v2 under turret, while Doggo unfortunately missing, but
this is
gonna net near a plate.
Oh no! Abel didn't even get the last 2 CS under the tower, and like you said, PP got poked out once again, where you desperately need that level 6 spike, but something's happening top lane.
Aki is coming in, Shanji pops the ghost. All we need is an unstoppable Ksante. Forget everything, it doesn't matter, OMG can't get the kill.
Ning does hover just for safety in case Vi does go for that tower dive, but look at this bottom lane. I mean, Doggo just consistently pushed up with no jungle threat at all. He's just eating the play at 4 minutes into the game. I mean, like I've been saying, this Xayah was such a perfect pick into OMG's team composition, because you have the Darius, you have the Vi that consistently want to go in. I mean, even Kaisa as well. But Ning isn't going to get spotted here. Can he burn at least a flash from Shanji is the question.
Hery does have flash as well. Remember, melee matchup, but he does to his ally. The flip back from Hery. He gets it under turret. He doesn't care for the time being. As Shanji heals up a little bit, but has to burn his last remaining summoner. And Ning so far well and truly on the board in top and bot.
so much action happening in this top lane. I mean, I think Abel is begging for at least some help because Doggo is consistently pushed up, but this Darius not having the flash available, I could potentially get another gank going towards that top side. I mean, Aki, I would love for him to path towards this bottom lane because I think Abel on this Kaisa, he is an absolute monster on it. We've seen what he's been able to do, and once this Kaisa gets ahead, they're gonna dance on the enemy team comp.
But again, will they ever get there? Because Baolan's already moving, has the freedom in lane as the wave was shoved up bot. Baolan and Ning moving in together, that's a great CC combination. As Aki's here on Raptors, but Creme might be caught out before he can get a reaction in. His flash is available with the permafrost there, the stun up, he hasn't burnt it! Creme, you greedy man! Almost dies, but holds onto the summoner. I guess it's well played in the end, but he played it close to the edge.
That was calculated hysterics. You can't say that without Creme just holding onto his flash for dear life and greeting it until the very last second. Didn't need to use it though, so that's pretty worth. I mean, he did get the ignite from Baolan, so the bottom 2v2 is going to be a little bit easier. But this entire just lane party from the bottom side resulted in this gank. Aki just didn't even spot the jungle support duo where Creme was just trying to get his wave in. The CC doesn't land from Ning, but Baolan comes in with the follow-up CC. And does secure something, but not the flash.
It's close though, you know. A couple of more hits. Creme looks from, you know, base to like, I don't know what the opposite of Giga Chat is. I think it was George. I decided anyone out there called George, really sorry, but that's just the name was gone. No, Brian! It was Brian! It was something about Monty Python. However, the point stands that Creme holds on to the summoner. Flash is available still as he's actually walking into a trap. Might need it for this one. Permafrost comes through. Qing this time lands. It's gone to Duck and Creme. That summoner comes in handy. Azaki now hit it in the bottom lane, but he's getting 1v2. Flashes away. Root comes up. Doggo! Oh, oh, oh! That's what you want to see from this Xayah.
PP God has flash as well. Everyone is just deciding not to flash, I suppose, in the first skirmish in this 7-minute mark. But yeah, really clean kill onto Doggo. Like I've been saying, Aki does come towards his bot lane, but I assume the wave was just way too pushed up and Doggo just playing with his feathers perfectly, resulting getting a CC onto PP God, and he died as a result. The flash was available, so he could have just gotten out. I mean, yeah, Aki was just sitting here for a very long time. Goes in for the flank. I'm assuming no CC lands onto Doggo because it does get cancelled a little bit. Doggo doesn't get touched, and just without any follow-up CC, PP God didn't expect the root from Doggo right here, and he dies as a result.
That was Baolan. That was beautiful timing. Like, just great stuff from the heimerdinger. A second kill goes over to Doggo, and Kitty, you weren't wrong when at the start of show you're talking about the blood of Ultra Prime really relying on Doggo. Well, he's set up in a great position yet again. He's got a small CS lead with this wave pushing in that he should be able to catch a majority of, but he's got those 2 early kills, which means this Xayah is in a position to carry yet again. I mean, Doggo is being set up by Ultra Prime.
Yeah, definitely set up for success. This Xayah pick so annoying for OMG to deal with. They are going to start the Herald here. Ning does have his ultimate available. I mean, the support isn't here just quite yet, so they do have a numbers advantage if they decide to take this.
Again, Doggo's going to show on bot though, so maybe it makes things a little bit more dicey for Ultra Prime to contest it. OMG have already burnt it down. Herald drops, and that's just about that. So they are going to get themselves an objective to match, as Ultra Prime were able to get the earlier Dragon. Kitty, where do you want to see this placed? Because I think Ultra Prime need to start moving and start influencing the match.
Is anyone going to bail Abel out?
Well, I mean, you get the root back in. Abel going to get ulted. Great ulti in response. Killer Instinct gets a reposition as the wave's getting cleared on the mid, but it's flashed away. Doggo can't get the range as well. Abel running for his life. He lives on. Abel, fancy feet, man. That was a nice little Stinger B moment.
That was a really well-played trade from Doggo. I mean, he was just spacing the tower perfectly. Unfortunately, the CC didn't land onto Abel, and he just managed to scrap out while Creme comes in with the reinforcements from that realm up. So Doggo was forced to leave the play. But yeah, this Kaisa vs Xayah matchup really sad so far with how the lane state is. I mean, someone just has to help out Abel in this bottom lane matchup, or Doggo's going to be backing with a mythic very soon.
Doggo should be pretty close to it by now, right? But again, props are Abel for surviving there. That was fancy footwork with the Killer Instinct. The fact he gets out of that alive is incredible enough with Doggo's already massive lead. Now, you were talking about items. We do have Gale Force picked up for Doggo now, so he's in charge. That that Gale Force going to do a lot to help the repositioning of Doggo in some of those 2v2 clutch moments. As Creme is getting bullied again, ulti comes through, he lands. He doesn't have his flash available. Qing stole the Chains of Corruption. One more auto, he has a flash to get it, but still, it's a security with Ultra Prime's third kill in 10 minutes.
A lovely commitment from the side of Ultra Prime. I mean, even Baolan flashes and follows up with the CC once the Sejuani ultimate lands. And I believe Qing had the Varus available, so that just guaranteed the kill onto Creme. But yeah, this movement from the support and jungle of Ultra Prime, they're really just placing the tempo onto the map, and they're allowing so many plays to be made across where Doggo is already ahead. So if they continue with this tempo and they're able to generate the lead into early objectives, then I think Ultra Prime is looking extremely strong and they're happy with the game state.
I mean, you talked about like how this game could evolve from things like Realm Warp, side lanes being important. So far, Creme hasn't been able to get on the map. He's been bullied constantly. Ning has been a ganking fiend, and this ain't the Ultra Prime that I saw with LGD earlier in the week, or rather last week. This is the Ultra Prime that is supporting quite a lot of familiar names for the global community. Doggo as well, we've seen at Worlds, we've seen on the side of Flash Wolves. Baolan, Ning are both world champions. People say, you know, sometimes are they washed up? Are they been around for too long? But they've still got that credibility no matter what you say. Supporting a couple of rookies like Hery and Qing, this team does have a lot to lean on, as we're seeing in this first game.
Oh, but Ning is just hovering that bottom side where Abel doesn't have his flash available. I mean, the good thing is that PP is finally level 6 on this Varus, so they can potentially outplay this. I mean, he got hit and he is dead.
Prison, you can't. You cannot. PP God with nothing. Those summoners remain intact, but he does not.
I mean, Aki tries so desperately to make something happen in this top side, but just look at the KP difference between these two junglers. He's only up 3 CS, but Ning has 2 assists and 1 kill in his pockets, where this this early dragon is just looking like it's already in the hands of Ultra Prime. He does have the Herald here. He is going to drop it just to get some extra gold into Creme's pocket, because they're not looking like they're having fun in this early game.
Aki going to be sharing that with Creme if he steps up close, but unfortunately just out of range. Baolan positioning in case Creme overstepped his mark. But meanwhile, Doggo just gets solo first turret blood. He's up 30 CS as well, guys. And this Xayah is going to take over the game. As you can see, gold on the left-hand side of your screen. 2,000 over Abel. And Kitty in total, Ultra Prime, a 4,000 gold up. And we'll now have 2 dragons. This early game is perfect.
Shanji doesn't have the TP available either. He decided to opt into the Ghost, which is the common summoner spells for Darius. But yeah, when it does come to these bottom skirmishes, you won't be having your top lane contributing in these fights. I mean, PP God, he is so behind on this Varus support, where ideally you always want to be ahead. I mean, you want to build the Umbral Glaive and you want to be poking where you potentially could outdamage some of these carries on your team. But with him being set so far behind, I'm afraid that he's only going to be an ult bot from now on.
Gotta just wait and see what they can do, though, because nothing's happened. OMG, this comp, nothing has happened because Ning has been everywhere first. And, you know, props again to Ning's game. I think his Sejuani game is showing us that, kind of like the Jarvan against LGD, sadly, that I have to remember, but it was still the willingness to engage, the ability to control and...
Just send it.
Well, in a great way. Ning's voice on this team is impactful and important. And I remember on the IG roster, Ning was one of the big voices there and one of the big shot callers in 2018. He's got the experience of veterancy, and that's what I was talking about before, where Ultra Prime are really utilizing that, it feels like, and Ning is obviously the one driving this car. Is right now, Kitty, I mean, we have to see if he drives it towards Herald, because so far, Ultra Prime have picked up everything but that first one.
Yeah, I mean, like you've been saying, Ning, 7 games on the Sejuani, now his 8th, and he is just doing great things and being extremely proactive for the side of Ultra Prime, where Aki is just consistently trying to hover these side lanes. But unless you're hovering Shanji, I'm afraid you don't have the damage from Creme on this Ryze to ever get a kill onto team. He has that role available and also the stopwatch.
It would mean that Qing's able to go in, set himself up with one of those stolen ultis that we've seen before. Chains Corruption, a good one. And as well, maybe even something like the Realm Warp to steal away. As Aki's angle is onto Doggo, but you talked about this, Kitty. Doggo is built against this composition. That ultimate is going to give him a bit of time to work with alongside that Gale Force as well. So look out for the Blade Caller as Ultra Prime move over to Rift Herald first. And you can see, Kitty, OMG just aren't confident to walk up to this objective.
Yeah, confidence is key, but Aki just consistently hovering towards his bot side when the major objective is that Herald just gives it for free towards Ultra Prime. I mean, you do have the Darius and the Kaisa, they scale okay when it comes to the mid-game skirmishes, but when you are depending on Creme in the side lane, you're consistently hovering him, then, I mean, mid lane is just going to fall as a result of that.
And it's going to fall even easier. The Herald being taken and dropped straight away. Doggo's wave clear is almost instantaneous. And opened up mid. Ultra Prime now with 2 turrets in this game and a 5,000 gold lead. Just about at 15 minutes in. Kitty, it's sad because for OMG, they also picked up this Darius. And I don't think I've seen a more quiet Darius game. Like, we saw one gank towards the top side that didn't work out. Matched by Ning for the counter. And Shanji just hasn't been able to exert that pressure that you'd expect out of, I guess, now a Divine Thunder or Darius.
Both junglers getting top ones and they burnt the flashes and they're like, I'm out, I'm going bot side. But in the return, Aki didn't actually get anything done in the bottom lane where PP God died as a result in that 2v3. And this is why this early game has gone such an upside down matter for the side of OMG. I mean, Kaisa and Varus, they want to be ahead, they want to be the aggressors, but up against Doggo on the Xayah, you just can't ever be making one single mistake when you overextend.
Well, now how they play the mid-game is all going to come down to pushing these advantages and sides. Qing right now setting towards bot. Doggo is hovering mid consistently. No fear of those chains of corruption either, as Abel just does his best to catch the wave and catch back up, but he's a full item down. Kitty, that's a Phantom Dancer now picked up by Doggo, so his ability to duel got even better. While the rest of Ultra Prime are hovering towards this bottom lane. It looks like they want to try and push in for these inners or make the dive happen towards Creme. This level 11 Ryze might be caught out, but the minion wave's thinned out a little bit as ning is just behind enemy lives. And Scott and Duck doesn't connect though. Qing need to land now, but at least setting up for the permafrost. The Stars can do is change corruption is great. Hang on, Ultra Prime. This one was ambitious, but Doggo to the rescue. Who's a good boy? Yes, he is. Get him a double kill. Okay, now against the Varus. Ulti out. Oh, yeah! Never send him to a kennel again! As Aki goes in for the ulti, Doggo tries. But now put on down. The shutdown as well. Aki's able to get something back in that wild 3-for-3.
Okay, that was really well played from Creme. He delayed the entire jungle and mid of Ultra Prime where the reinforcements were able to come over and PPGo just chucked out the ultimate at the very end. But yeah, look at how Creme sidesteps all the abilities from Ultra Prime. I believe he does like at least the Sylas stun and then he just ults the Sylas Q. PPGo throws out the ultimate here and April just ulting in as well, trying to help it out. But everyone forgot that Qing had that stopwatch available and Doggo just went sicko mode here. I mean, he is just so fed on the Xayah with the lethal tempo as well. I mean, just can't really escape the grasp of the Xayah.
Able to get another kill as well as Doggo does get shut down by Aki, but again, it's over to the jungler where Doggo was able to clean up a couple. And this means that this guy's coming in red hot, but without the summoners, we'll have to see how confident he feels in this next fight. As Kitty, this is third dragon if Ultra Prime can secure.
No flash and ultimate on Doggo in this 5v5 in particular. So it's going to be a little bit tough, but I think Ultra Prime is still in a winning position because they do have the Sejuani ult available while VODS doesn't have hers.
Yeah, Shanji as well with double summoners versus everyone else on OMG actually not having it up. Hery has his life with the all-out we haven't seen yet this game as Creme starts zoning off, but Hery jumps on in onto Creme. Now it's a re-engage, change corruption in that choke's beautiful. Aki goes in though, straight away they're able to find a kill, but rather that was Qing as Ultra Prime are taking a front to back, jumping in on top of Aki. Shanji starting to do stuff, but straight away as he gets a double, takes it even further. Finally, it's Dunkin' Donuts. How can I help you?
Shanji has had enough of this peaceful gaming. He comes in with the triple ultimate and triple kill and wins the entire fight and turns the game state around. I mean, I've been saying this Hysterics. Ultra Prime, they generate that lead onto Doggo, but he just throws it away. He just has too much fun in the Xayah and he just forgets about his positioning because you do need to play with space when you're up against something like the Darius and of course the Vi, where I believe the Vi just instantly ulted the AD carry of Ultra Prime and he just wasn't really able to avoid the damage from Shanji as a result of that. But yeah, the Ghost activates from Shanji and they ulti Doggo in this team fight where Shanji just kills everything in this specific choke and the resets are just insane. I mean, the Sunder Darius is doing work.
I was expecting this to go to Ultra Prime with the quick pick up of PP God, but Kitty, Shanji comes out of nowhere, picks up a triple, now has a dead man's plate. And I take back what I said. Imagine going up to Darius in real life and saying, bro, you've done nothing for the first 15 minutes. Then he comes at you like that. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, father. I'm so sorry. 20 minutes into the game, Kitty. That's a dragon take as well for OMG. So they are back in some kind of position to contest. And what we were talking about earlier for Ultra Prime, now you're going to have to tell me the other way of OMG finding a way back into this game, because it does feel a bit more feasible.
Definitely a breather for OMG, finally finding something. I mean, that was technically a 4v5 at the dragon fight. PPGod got instantly deleted because of the Sejuani ultimate landing onto his head, and just the amount of focus that OMG provided in that team fight onto the ADC without the flash available. I believe the Xayah did have the Gale Force, but the Baron is getting started.
I mean, it's going down quick as well. Ultra Prime just throw the Hail Mary. It's on a ward though, as April now is positioning here with the Killer Instinct. But look for Doggo in the pit, and look for Shanji again going in. Oh, baby! OMG just steal it! Aki gets it from under their nose. Doggo might get the kill, but Aki gets the respect.
Hysterics, why am I seeing this win slowly being taken away from Ultra Prime's palms? I mean, they just flipped the Baron, complete 50-50, where Aki just cues in and steals it. They're just being sent more and more behind, and this Ryze having an excellent time just CSing in the side lane. I mean, you're just up against something like the Sylas and Ksante. You're gonna glide on them perfectly, but yeah, just look at Aki. He just goes in without any oh, he does have a blue ward, Scrying Orb, to provide that vision, and gets it with that Vi ultimate. I mean, just stop burger flipping, Ultra Prime. Come on, you got this. You were supposed to win this game.
You were the chosen one. I agree. Doggo was taken over, taking names, man. And now, Kitty, that last fight, Shanji has a moment. Aki now has a moment. OMG now have a moment because they're 500 gold ahead. They were down almost 5k at like the 13, 14, 15-minute mark, Kitty.
Good TP.
It's changed so much. His all-out does come through, but Shanji now has a Ksante who's not that tanky at all. Caddy 1v3. Darius has done crazy things, but however, in front of everyone, maybe it's not meant to be. The apprehend's good. Decimate coming through, but no, Duncan again. Qing takes a heavy trade, but they got what they came for.
They also got the tier 2 top lane. They will gladly trade for that because they burnt so much onto this Darius, where I believe someone nearly died. Qing nearly died. I mean, 2 more orders and he was pretty much dead. But yeah, a lot of macro with this Baron now. I mean, Creme is just having a wonderful time on this Ryze in the side lane, where Aki is just going to consistently hover. It is going to be a 1-for-1 tower trade. I like Creme with his Rommel finally coming in and stopping something.
Qing, good steal. Very good steal there. Abel still had the ulti, and you could see the blood in his eyes. So an attempt to get away and deny the inner turret. Kitty, you're talking about gold trading over. I mean, this time around, Ultra Prime don't really get the full extent of what they came for, and gold remains in OMG's favor, however slight.
The dragon will be spawning in 45 seconds, so with PPGod, I mean, having the Umbral Glaive available, he is just going to fight over the vision against Baolan. It's looking real tough for Ultra Prime now. I mean, Sylas and Sejuani, you're lacking a lot of damage. You're really dependent onto Doggo once again, but he has to play his spacing perfectly. I mean, he has the Gale Force available and the ultimate and the flash this time around, so it really is all eyes on Doggo for this upcoming fight.
Kitty, you've been saying it all game. You've been talking about Doggo all game, so have I. But he's fallen silent, so yes, it will definitely come down to him. As the Blade Caller is still up and alive. As Abel's going to get poked out. Creme jumped it as well. Hail of Arrows is good to zone them off. Qing's taking a bit of damage here from the poke as PPGod is actually doing some work. But I'm looking at Shanji yet again as Apprehend doesn't connect now, and PPGod he has to flush away. Chance corruption in return, but Aki goes in the backline, it's on top of Ning. Not the right target as Creme runs forward and Abel starts firing away,
Doggo!
but the all-out from Hery on the other side. Doggo runs in. Fresh off the beat here. This dog wants more walkies. But Ultra Prime unable to give it to him right now. The leash is let go, and OMG punish them away to get their second dragon of this game.
Look, everyone walks away scot-free, but this dragon does go towards the side of OMG. I mean, Doggo, I saw a light where he just glides on everyone with that Gale Force and Flash available, but unfortunately diffused from the side of OMG, and they will gladly take that dragon. It does result in 2 towers falling for the side of OMG, and that does open up the map a lot more. But yeah, that ultimate from Aki, it did end up on Ning, I believe, halfway through the fight, and they weren't even able to execute the Sejuani while Aki committed so many spells onto the jungler. I mean, I think they were just trying to get rid of the smite 50-50 potential, but Doggo, without that Vi threat being there, I mean, he was just smurfing on them.
So, Kitty, question for you. What does this game look like as we go on? Because gold's even, and it's a very different draft in 13.1. We're very glad about it, but there's a lot of changes to how these comps play out in team fights, and I was curious about what you thought about scaling and how Ultra Prime and OMG run into each other as the game goes on.
The flash is definitely super important from OMG Shanji on this Darius. We saw how potent this Darius pick was in that previous Dragon fight where he was able to pick up 3 kills. I mean, once the eyes of OMG are set into Doggo for these team fights and Shanji is able to get potentially a flash hook onto the ADC, Ultra Prime is left without any damage options. But on the other side, I mean, Ultra Prime, they've been playing these fights okay, mostly peeling for Doggo, but it really depends on just how he plays these team fights. I mean, Hery might get caught here.
Yeah, he might. You know, you talk about that Shanji summoner. Will he have to use it here? Hery, again, goes unstoppable, decides to all out onto Aki. There's one ulti burn. Shanji burns Ghost and Flash. They want the kill here, but Hery's down. How many dashes do you want to give him? The minions run in fear as they should have. Qing under turret gets the heal, but look, again, Duncan part 2 is Shanji so epically low. Doggo gets out as well. Forward he goes to plate ball, not connecting though, and Aki's still there to double out as PP God saved. This time by Creme, but he's not far enough out as Ning and Baolan still continue the chase. And Shanji and Aki set up that play, but Hery survived for so damn long.
4v5 from the side of OMG. I mean, they do get the ultimate onto Hery, but he bought so much time because you are Ksante up against a Vi and Darius. I mean, the Baron is spawning in 10 seconds, and that was a 2-for-1 trade where the TP is also available from the Ksante. So you just did all that, but the Baron ends up in Ultra Prime's hands.
10 seconds. Yeah, you're right. Not enough time. I mean, Doggo's going to threaten this down so quickly, and for OMG, we throw it right back, Kitty. There's just something about Ultra Prime's games that feels like they're always a little bit back and forth. They're always, I guess, a lot of fun, but even though they return to the position of power, this one's been choppy. But Kitty, we've got to look again because Hery bought them a lot of time.
Yeah, they did spot that most of Ultra Prime was hovering that mid side, so they just committed all their spells onto Hery for this under this tier 2 tower. I mean, even the flash is coming out as well. Unfortunately, couldn't outrun the Ghost. TP comes out of the mid laner of Ultra Prime, and then just the reinforcements. I mean, Doggo just gale forces in. He doesn't care. He wants those kills because he knows once all of OMG dies, it is a Baron upcoming in 20 seconds. I mean, PP got, I believe, QSS himself, and then got out with the Realm Warp? Not QSS. He just lived. He took the taxi.
He just lived. Yeah, he took the taxi. Again, was walking into the Realm Warp, so it feels pretty good, man. For PP God surviving as he's died already 5 times, didn't want to make it a 6th. Considering that Ultra Prime off the back of it already got so much, and the Baron included, we said off the back of the replay. Kitty, it's a 2,000 gold lead here for Ultra Prime at 28 minutes. Now they have the Baron, and they're wave clear. Pretty immense with Doggo sitting mid. Look at the setup here with Hery in the bottom lane as well.
Come on, Creme. I want to see more from this Ryze. Be more proactive. This Realm Up is so valuable when you want to make those silent plays, but now your base is being threatened from the side of Ultra Prime. You can't make those plays anymore. Just force something. Hery is bottom lane.
And Creme will at least clear the wave here to make sure that Hery can't get too much. Steps up to the counter minion, but mid's already gone down. It's just the inhibitor that Ultra Prime are looking for right now. Doggo's going to get this with ease. And so that Baron is going to net some more pressure towards mid lane. Ultra Prime moving towards bot as well with the next wave coming up to try and threaten yet another in-hit turret, but this one will be a little bit harder.
A slow, suffocating game from the side of OMG. I mean, to be fair, the only real time they got to breathe was when Ultra Prime threw and gave them a free Baron, but this entire game, not a lot of proactiveness from the jungle and mid laner of OMG, where this is the game state now, and your champions, I mean, without the flash available on Shanji, it's going to look really difficult to get your hands onto Doggo.
The threat continues here. Doggo has been safe this whole game long. Ulti, double summoners available, stopwatch too. Just how do you do it? Is Qing feeling comfortable with his own Zhonyas as well as his flash? He's keeping the Baron minions towards mid, and that pressure continuing on as Abel has to match, and slowly but surely, you said it, it was just whittling down this bottom lane turret. Look, PP God's not even doing that much damage, and so Ultra Prime continue to walk it in.
The Varus also misses from PP God. I mean, Creme just has to clear these Baron, and he's doing a relatively good job. 3 items on this Ryze so far, but yeah, so many stopwatches coming out of Ultra Prime as well. You pretty much have to kill Doggo 3 times. He has the stopwatch, he has the Xayah ult available. It's just going to be really tough because Aki, once you commit all your spells, I mean, you only have a stopwatch yourself. Someone gets caught.
PP God, what are you doing, brother? Come on, mate. That's not how it's meant to happen. He's just caught out in brushes. Shanji doesn't get the apprehend, and Qing just walks it out. 3rd dragon here for OMG, and now the PP God's dead. If it wasn't already free, it definitely is now, Kitty. So Ultra Prime will be moving towards Soul Point, and finally getting a Mountain Dragon for themselves at the very least as well, with all these tanky members.
PP God, come on. I mean, they did first pick the Varus, and it was flexed to this support position, but we just see how detrimental it was to give that first blood over to Doggo. 7 and 2, now getting the Gale Force, I mean the GA into his pockets as well. I don't think OMG has enough damage to kill Doggo twice.
True. They've only just barely killed him once in this game, so I can believe that as well. I think in this game though, guys, let's be real. You know, Doggo's had a great time. Qing's had a great time, I think, on the Sylas, but he's also been set up. But Baolan and Ning, I would say Old Faithful, but that's just a lie. They're not Old Faithful, but they are definitely old men of the league who have still got it. Like, this is a brilliant game to kind of state that Ning and Baolan are, you know, capable of having these carry performances. Really nice to see, especially on the heimerdinger. As Ning, again, setting out the ulti, as I talk about him, doesn't hit Abel, but still, the threat there is he has to back away. As PP God's forced to flash with the positioning here, and straight away, OMG getting threatened on their last remaining turret outside of the base.
Definitely gonna see a 4-1 coming out of Ultra Prime now with the mid inhibitor being down as well. But yeah, OMG, they need to do something because their base is gonna suffocate as a result of this. But Shanji does have the flash available. Perhaps you can get your hands onto Baolan, who doesn't have that many defensive items just quite yet, and make it a 4v4.
Pod coming through still continuously. Bottom wave pushing in against Ultra Prime. Just notice that bot side. Wave not really synced up to be threatening. Mid's being reacted to as well. Kitty, I will say so far, Ultra Prime, their constant shoving hasn't really been linked that much. Every single time, it just feels like one wave's pushing in, okay, and then another one pushes in, and timing's just not 100%, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the waves aren't being timed perfectly, but I think this tier 2 tower, you could play for it with Shanji having that flash available. I mean, Doggo is just playing so greedy here. He does get caught.
Oh, and Shanji's right to the mark as well. You just talked about Doggo, he went to GA, kidding! He might have the ulti, but as the Featherstorm flies out, he has to flash over. The Blade Caller will give him safety, but now for the re-engage. Shanji walked on in. That guy's got a big hook that'll slam on down as everyone's in the AoE. Shanji about to die. What? That healing nut almost saves the game as PP God's poke ain't enough either. Creme getting doused down as Hery jumps on in. It's time to Ksante things up. Next up is Abel. The cleavers come out as Ultra Prime almost lost the fight, but instead, they won the war.
You know what, Doggo? I'm gonna give this one to you. That was a beautiful bait from the ADC of Ultra Prime. Get something happening. I mean, Shanji saw his opportunity and took it, but he forgot that this Xayah has a GA and a flash and that ultimate available, so you have to kill him 3 times. And with the choke, I mean, OMG just played into the hands of the Xayah pick, and they weren't really able to just get any damage out, because once Shanji and Levi has been kited on these 2 champions, you're just not gonna get any follow-up because you have a Ryze, but the Kaisa being set up from so early on just can't, he doesn't have the confidence to ulti in because he just lacks so much damage and items.
Again, like the bait you said, I guess Doggo did bait perfectly. Surprisingly enough, I honestly just thought Doggo's getting caught out, but yeah, to every rhyme there's a reason. As you look, let's be real, Ultra Prime, Kitty, they deserve to win that game. OMG found some good comebacks thanks to Shanji's Darius, thanks to Aki's pick. But Ultra Prime from the start of this game, Ning was carrying them on their backs. The ganking of the Sejuani was insane. Like, he was everywhere across the map, and Aki just had a very quiet game overall.
Yeah, I mean, it all started with Ning getting that flash out of Shanji where he wasn't feeling too confident to overstep in that lane, and then he played the mind trick and started playing towards his bottom lane where PP got, I
Yeah.
believe he ended the game at least 0-6 on this Varus support, getting caught out, of course,
0-7.
in that level 1, and it was just a terrible time because when you do pick these ADC supports, I mean, if you're not ahead with the lethality items, you're pretty much just an ult bot, but you have no range up against something like the Xayah and the heimerdinger that can kill
True.
you from 2 screens away, and we saw that happen multiple times.
He had a really good point, you know, in the draft as well, that like the Xayah was perfect for the composition. It could deal with the Vi, the Darius. Like there were options for this AD carry to play the game and not just get absolutely caught. And with the GA there, right? You know, Doggo in the end still able to flash away, ult away. He's out of position. No one can catch up to him. And so you can see that Doggo's still able to output damages. Creme's a bit of a surprise, but we know that Doggo's not. He put on a bit of a masterclass down bottom, but props to Baolan, who in this 2v2 dominated Abel and PP God, sometimes even without the jungle intervention.
Yeah, the only time that Aki decided to gank bottom lane, that stun from Baolan was just perfectly timed, and it did deny the 2v3 and even resulted in a kill going to Doggo's hands. I mean, just looking at the damage charts, PP God ended up doing more damage than Abel, but that's just how the game state was. When you are on a champion like Kaisa, you want to be going in, but you need to know that this Kaisa's up against a champion like Sylas, Sejuani, and Xayah, so much CC, so it's not going to be as much of a fun time as you think, especially when you don't have that item lead.
Yeah, again, you know, utilized from the very start, Abel always behind. We saw the Kaisa come back out, and it was nice to see diversity coming from OMG. But the problem was, as you were stating, you know, how that bottom lane 2v2 was going, how it was executed, really rough to see because, you know, Abel is someone who, when he finds the lead, typically holds onto it, can really take over games. That game around, I think that was the most quiet I've seen Abel in a while. As we're going to throw to a break, folks, see what comes out in game 2. We're still 13.1, but let's hope it